Good morning. Just taking a moment to arrive in this place through technology, allowing yourself to arrive. And noticing if that thought is confusing, arriving in this moment. We often move from one thing to the next without a transition. And arriving in the moment helps to give us a transition. And so beginning by maybe softening the eyes or closing them completely. And playing with the idea of arriving in this moment. If you're sitting or standing on your mat or a cushion, just noticing what is beneath you. Allowing yourself to arrive in this moment. Feeling the body. Feeling the breath. Taking note of where you are right now. Allowing that to be perfect. And allowing yourself to arrive here in this moment. And as we settle into arriving, I'd like to share the theme of today is AHIMSA, loving kindness or nonviolence, and share that anger is a natural reaction of being human. It's important. It keeps us safe. But we often engage in anger without curiosity. And we think we're being very brave. I think that courage actually comes from when we go inward deeply and with curiosity and explore what is going on for ourselves in that moment when we're angry. There is always more to that question for ourselves individually, because anger is always fueled by fear. It's the neuroscience of our brain. That tiny part, the amygdala, is only triggered by fear. And that amygdala puts us into fight, flight, or freeze. And if we go into fight, then we're in anger. So I think allowing ourselves to be courageous enough to explore with curiosity and kindness to ourselves what it is we're afraid of. Often we don't think we're afraid of anything. We're being courageous externally and showing our anger. And again, there's always more. So I invite you in this practice today to explore that. There's no need to push away our anger. Actually, when we push it away, or numb it out, we tend to do that with overworking or drugs or alcohol or excessive exercise. Even can be a form of that, even though it's masking as potentially healthy. So I would invite you to explore if you're numbing the anger And allow yourself in this practice today to be courageous enough to explore your anger in a different way. I'd like to read a quote from a book. AHIMSA is the first step of the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. And in a book by Deborah Adele, she says, when we are unwilling to look deeply and courageously into our own lives, we can easily violate others in many subtle ways that we may not even be aware of, thinking that we are actually helping them. And in my mental health practice with people, I see that often. The amygdala, that place in our brain that brings us to fight, flight, or freeze, is the most egotistical part of our brain. We're trying to keep ourselves safe. It's all about us. So I would encourage exploration around that and curiosity around that. If we are angry, how are we being self-centered? If we are angry, what are we really afraid of? What are we trying to protect ourselves from? And allowing an exploration of that today. So meeting on the mat in hero's position. And if this is difficult for the body, allowing any support or a change in position. So hero's position is sitting on the heels. And feel free to put a blanket under the knees or anything that you may need for support, or to change the pose completely. And begin to soften the eyes or close them completely. Noticing how this pose feels on the body. And again, doing anything through this practice of AHIMSA that is kind and loving to yourself. If this pose hurts, make an adjustment. In this pose, can you notice how the muscles may try to be lifting you up? And can you allow yourself to sink softly towards the heels, relaxing down towards the earth? Allowing yourself to arrive in this moment, in this pose. Noticing how it feels on the body right now. Encouraging the exploration of kindness to yourself. Allowing each out breath to soften the muscles, feeling the support of the earth below you. Trusting that. Taking a moment to notice if anger resonates with you. If you have felt angry over the last week or in this moment. And asking yourself if you can be courageous enough to explore that internally, to look deeply into self, to be courageous enough to do that. And knowing that even in that beginning stage of answering yes, I can be courageous enough, you begin to move out of that part of your brain into another part. Notice that it may come back up, this anger, and pull you back to that part of your brain. And then just explore how you could engage curiosity and maybe even feel a shift in the brain to a different part. Allowing the hands to come to the heart in whatever way works best for you, in prayer pose or flat on your heart. Notice how that feels. Either hand pose. Allowing a sense of kindness for yourself. Encouraging yourself that you can do this. You can have the courage. Encouraging courage. Gently rocking forward, finding the hands meet the mat, curling the toes, and if it works for the body, gently rising up. Inhaling, lifting the arms towards the sky, beginning to find a balance between the sky and the earth, a balance in your body. Inhaling here, exhaling, allowing the hands to come to the earth. Stretching out the toes again, inhaling, maybe coming up, reaching the arms. Exhaling, hands meet the mat. Maybe lifting the toes, stretching them out, moving the ankles, playing a little bit. And then finding the toes meet the mat and gently coming up on the inhale. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Again, allowing play with the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands meet the mat. And this time, gently patting the toes out. Pushing the hips back into child's pose, reaching the arms forward, allowing the head to meet the mat. And breathing here. Allowing yourself to fall towards the earth, feeling all of the body parts that are touching the earth right now. Breathing in, breathing out, softening towards the earth on each exhale. And noticing anger here. Taking a moment to notice where it showed up in your life.
And allowing yourself to be courageous enough to sit with that anger, to feel it, to not run away from it, but to allow yourself to feel the anger. This practice is not intended to ignore anger. It's to be present with it. And when we push things away, trouble begins. So can we be present with our anger? Taking a moment here to just feel anger. Notice what comes to mind as you explore the anger that you have felt. What situations arise? Can you notice yourself wanting to think of something different rather than these times of anger? And each time, can you allow yourself to come back to notice anger and the situations that arise in the mind when you think of that? When have I been angry recently or in the past? Taking this first step of courage, allowing yourself to notice and feel anger. To face it. And that first step of facing anger, you may notice that a softening even starts to begin there. And it may not. Anger may continue to resonate. Continue to face it and look at it. And then encourage yourself to have enough courage to explore it more deeply. Beginning to ask yourself, what am I afraid of in this situation that arises in my mind when I recognize my anger? What am I afraid of? Allow yourself to be that curious. What am I afraid of? Exploring your anger more deeply with curiosity. Gently walking the hands back up, coming back to hero's pose, lifting the top of the head towards the sky and feeling the earth below. Balance. And then feeling the breath in the body.
Noticing where it is right now. Maybe there's a beating faster of the heart, a faster breath as you think and focus on anger. Notice the change in the body that occurs with anger. Allow your breath to be perfect as it is right now, even if you notice that speed, especially if you notice that speed. And then on your next inhale, preparing for a 3-part out breath, which sounds something like this. Inhaling and allowing the focus to be on the out breath. Feeling your gut change with that out breath and continuing to do that for yourself. Breathing in, no need to focus there. Focusing on the out breath. Allowing the in breath to just be natural and focusing on the out breath. Feeling the gut and the core engage with that breath. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, allowing the arms to come to the mat. Setting up into a tabletop position. Gazing down towards the mat. And noticing how that breath felt. The out breath, 3-part, and engaging it here. Can you play with feeling the abdomen and the core engage and the belly button moving towards the spine on each part of the out breath? Pulling it closer to the spine. Inhaling, 3-part exhale. Intentionally with the breath, focusing on the exhale, focusing on letting the breath go. And then allowing your breath to resume to its normal pace and rhythm. Noticing how you feel in this moment. Allowing the arms to be strong, the gaze to be towards the mat, feeling your spine long. On your next inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the hips and the head. And on the exhale, rounding the spine. Dropping the head, curling the spine in the opposite direction. And doing this with your own breath for a few rounds. Inhaling. Lifting the head and hips, exhaling, dropping the chin towards the chest, rounding the spine. Allowing in this practice to feel the out breath. However it shows up, having the focus be on the out breath. And when you reach the end of that out breath, as your chin is tucked into your chest, can you play with holding it here?
holding the breath as long as possible before inhaling again, lifting the chin. And doing that again, exhaling, rounding the spine. And when you feel the end of that exhale, can you hold? Before breathing in again, dropping the belly, lifting the chest. Exhale, same thing, breathing out completely and fully, feeling the belly button move towards the spine at the very bottom of the breath, holding it here. Inhaling in your own time, and then last one, exhaling and hold. Coming back to a flat, straight spine, allowing the breath to be natural. Noticing how that breath felt for you, holding at the bottom, noticing how that was. On your next inhale, lifting the right arm up towards the sky, reaching for the balance in between the earth and the sky. Exhaling, needling the arm underneath and gently reaching the head and shoulder down, resting it on the mat, creating a twist in the spine. And then just allowing the breath to be natural here. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you could inhale your left arm up and curl it around the back. Maybe grabbing the right thigh, allowing the shoulder to be away from the ear. Breathe in here. Allowing the focus to be on the exhale. And then gently returning the left arm if it was twisted around you. Feeling the left palm on the mat and inhaling the right arm back up before planting it on the mat. Readjusting and finding that straight spine with the gaze towards the mat. And on your next inhale, lifting the left arm up. And exhaling, bringing that arm through, gently resting the head and the shoulder on the mat. Allowing the breath to be as it is. And again, if you'd like more of a twist, lifting the right arm up, wrapping it around, bringing the shoulder away from the ear. And breathe in here. Gently releasing the right arm if it was twisted around the body. Feeling the right palm on the mat and lifting up on the inhale, reaching the left arm towards the sky before planting it back down, tabletop. Gazing towards the mat, feeling the tops of the feet on the mat, curling the toes, gently reaching the hips back, stretching out the toes. And then bringing the hands slightly forward. And on your next inhale, lifting the hips up, coming into downward facing dog. And allowing yourself any movement here that feels good for the body. Reaching the heart towards the upper thighs. allowing the head to be heavy and the neck to be loose. And breathing. Bending the knees, looking forward at the hands, and walking or hopping to the top of the mat, hanging in forward fold. If the hands don't come to the mat, using a block or a book, or holding elbow to elbow, noticing what works for you today. Feeling the strong lower body, feeling the feet making contact with the earth, tightening up through the lower legs, upper legs, and can you feel the muscles moving out towards the outer edges of the legs while you concentrate on hugging the midline of your legs together, zipping up from the feet to the hips, moving the inner thighs and lower legs towards each other. Really making this an active pose. Feeling the feet on the floor, tightening through the legs, feeling and imagining the muscles moving out to the outer edges of the leg while you zip up the inner legs. Can you feel that happening? Beginning to feel this midline in our body, noticing the upper half of your body draped over the lower, but in line. Keeping the legs engaged, bending the knees at least slightly, and beginning to roll up. Can you feel the center, the midline of the body as you roll up? Rolling the shoulders up and back, lifting through the top of the head, curling the tailbone under. Mountain. Can you feel your feet? The zipped up feeling of the insides of your legs, the activation in the legs, the muscles moving out to the outer edges. Inhaling, lifting the arms, reaching towards the sky. Can you feel the feet connected to the earth and the arms reaching towards the sky? Breathe in here. Inhaling, lifting slightly further. Exhaling, bringing the arms out, activated and strong, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Holding and breathing here. Can you feel your feet on the ground? The top of your head reaching towards the sky. Arms reaching out. Activated pose. Tightening the muscles in the body. Are the legs tightened with the muscles reaching out towards the side and the middles reaching towards each other? Is your tailbone curled and your core engaged? Shoulders and arms strong and reaching, head reaching towards the sky. Feeling your strength, feeling those muscles, active pose. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, arms come to a T, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Finding your form of forward fold. Allowing it to be perfect wherever you are. Feeling the strong lower body and allowing the upper body to waterfall over the lower. Maybe you feel the mountain still in the legs, the earth, and you feel the water of the upper body. Can you feel that? Bending the knees at least slightly, rolling up. Feeling the midline, noticing the midline. Rolling the shoulders up and back, engaging in an active mountain pose. Feel the inner thighs reaching towards each other. Feet solid on the mat. Tailbone curled, core engaged, shoulders down, hands and arms strong, top of the head reaching towards the sky. Can you feel the strength in this pose? Is there any fear here? Can you face it? Notice it. Facing fear. Facing anger. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, arms come to a T, forward fold. Slowly and mindfully imagining that waterfall. Bending the knees as much as it takes to have the hands meet the mat. And then bringing the right leg back into a high lunge. Dropping the knee into a low lunge, flattening the foot. And taking a few breaths here, allowing the right hip to drop gently towards the mat. When that part of our brain, the amygdala, is triggered, the body is triggered. We have automatic reactions that happen in the body. And we know we hold emotions. Often those are held in hips, affecting lower back. Allow a release here. And can you feel with the out breath, a softening of the hip towards the mat? Focusing on the out breath, allowing the body and the mind to let go. Letting go of any fears. Noticing if that's difficult, physically or mentally. And just noticing with curiosity, it's a little challenging to let go of fear here or of anger here. Gently pushing back, bringing the left toes towards the nose, allowing the back and spine to be straight. Inhaling and exhaling, maybe moving towards the left toes further. Allowing any use of props. Inhaling may lift, exhaling may fold you more. One more breath here. Gently walking the hands, allowing the left foot to meet the mat, curling the toes, lifting the knee, pushing up, forward fold. Noticing how the right leg may feel different from the left right now. Noticing the connection of the feet on the floor. And does that feel different? Can you notice a change in energy on both sides of the body? And then can you engage the muscles in the legs, pulling towards that midline, hugging the interior of your legs towards each other and activating the muscles, allowing them to move out to the outer edges. Continuing to play with that feeling. Hugging the inner legs close. And then bending the knees as much as it takes to bring the palms to the mat and bringing the left leg back into a high lunge. Dropping the knee, dropping the foot, breathing into the release of the left hip. Each out breath, softening the hip towards the mat, playing with the idea of letting go, whatever that may mean for you. Letting go of the idea that we know, whatever the rest of that sentence may be. And exploring with curiosity the idea that we may not know. We certainly don't know what is going on for other people, even if we think that we do. On your next inhale, gently walking the hands back, bringing the right toes towards the nose, gazes towards the mat, feeling that spine straight, inhaling and exhaling may fold you over that leg more. Noticing the tightening in the back of the legs. If they feel very tight, it's often an indicator that our amygdala is fired, has been fired, and that fight, flight, or freeze. Can you just notice that? Allow for a release in this moment. And gently walking the hands forward, flattening the right foot, curling the toes, lifting the knee, pushing back up, forward fold. Finding your version of forward fold. Noticing the feet. Noticing the energy in the legs. Does it feel more balanced right now? Noticing the lower back. Can you allow a release in the lower back in this pose? You breathe into it. Breathing out, sending it the message. It can also let go. Whatever it's holding on to right now. Bending the knees, feeling the inside of the thighs, keeping in mind that midline in the body, slowly rolling up. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, allowing them to float to your sides. Standing softly, noticing how you feel in this moment. Inhale, lifts.
Exhale, arms come to a T, forward fold. Bending the knees as much as it takes, hands meet the mat, bringing the right leg back into a high lunge, dropping the knee, flattening the toes, and on your next inhale, lifting the arms up, playing with balance. Exhale, bringing the hands to the mat, curling the toes, lifting the knee, bringing the left leg back into high plank or dropping the knees for low plank. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling, and on your next inhale, lifting the hips high, downward facing dog. Heart to upper thighs. Bending the knees, looking forward at the hands, and bringing the right foot forward, allowing the left to stay back in the high lunge, dropping the knee, flattening the foot, inhaling, lifting the arms. Inhaling, exhaling, bringing the hands to the mat, curling the back toes, lifting the knee, right leg comes back to meet high plank or low plank. Breathing here. And then on your next inhale, bending the elbows, slowly lowering down on the exhale. Forehead meets the mat, feet flatten. On your next inhale, lifting the head, arching the back. Inhaling and exhaling here. Feeling the tops of the feet flat. Inhaling and exhaling, forehead to mat. Curling the toes, lifting up through plank, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, looking forward at the hands, bringing the right foot back, high lunge, dropping the knee, flattening the foot, placing the left hand next to the right foot, and inhaling and lifting the right arm up. Shoulder away from the ear. Breathing here. And then bringing that right hand back to the mat, flattening it next to the foot, and inhaling, lifting the left arm. Breathe in here. On your next exhale, bringing the left hand back down to the mat, curling the left toes, lifting the knee, bringing the right foot back, high plank or low plank. Breathe in here. On your next inhale, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips high, heart moving towards the upper thighs. Bending the knees, looking forward at the hands and bringing the left foot up. Repositioning, high plank. Dropping the knee, flattening the foot. Placing the right hand next to the left foot and inhaling, lifting the left arm. Breathe in here. On your next exhale, bringing that left hand back, inhaling, reaching the right. Breathe in here. Inhaling, on your next exhale, bringing that hand back to the mat, curling the right toes, lifting the knee, and coming back into plank. Readjusting, dropping the knees if you'd like. Few breaths here. On your next inhale, bending the elbows, exhaling, slowly lowering down. Forehead meets the mat, feet flatten. On your next inhale, lifting the head. Feeling the tops of the feet on the mat, strong into the mat. Can you feel the midline? Can you hug the interior parts of your legs towards each other? Inhaling, exhaling, bringing the forehead to the mat. Bringing the hands underneath the forehead. I'm just taking a moment to lay here. Softening towards the ground, the earth. Taking a moment to notice how you feel right now. And then on your next inhale, bringing the right leg up to, if it can be, a 90-degree angle with a knee out to the side. Foot flexed, so like a half of a frog. And just allowing that knee to rise as much as works for your own body. And again, focusing on releasing the right hip towards the mat, towards the ground and the earth. With each exhale, can you soften the hip towards the earth even more? Allowing a release. And even if you don't know what you need to release or let go, you just be curious about the changes and sensation in the hip. Maybe your body is allowing a letting go. Bringing that right leg back to meet the left, flattening the foot, realigning in the center. Can you notice any changes from the right side to the left here? And then slowly bringing the left knee out to the side. In that half frog pose. And allowing a release in the left hip. Each out breath softening that hip towards the floor. Are you noticing tension anywhere else in your body that with your next out breath you could also soften? Trusting that this ground below you will hold and support you. Allowing yourself to be curious about what needs to be let go right now. Facing the anger, being curious about what you are afraid of.
allowing a release in the hips to help with that process. And really no need to answer any of those questions for yourself right now. Just allowing yourself to continue to be curious. What am I afraid of? Knowing that you're engaging courage by just asking that question. Gently bringing the left foot back to meet the right on the mat. And switching hands. Just allowing the other hand to rest on top. Noticing how you feel right now. Curling the toes. Bringing the hands to the mat. And lifting back up. Gently bringing the hips back. Stretching out the toes. Allowing the forehead to meet the mat. Reaching the arms forward. Surrendering. To all that we don't know. Gently coming up, flattening the feet and allowing yourself to fall into child's pose in whatever form works for you. Arms reaching forward or back curled around your feet. Noticing how you feel right now. Gently bringing the hands towards the legs and pushing up, coming back into hero's pose. Feeling the feet on the ground, the earth, the hips resting on the feet. Feeling the straight spine and the top of the head reaching towards the sky. Noticing how you feel right now in this moment. Noticing anger. Playing with courage. Softening the body towards the ground. Feeling the support of the earth below you. Knowing that every human in the world has that support. The earth. We're all supported. Gently allowing yourself to come all the way down onto the mat, however works for you, and finding your final pose, whatever feels right for the body today. Allowing yourself to feel that earth below you, supporting you. If it's comfortable in whatever pose you have chosen, bringing your hands to your heart. Offering yourself another support.
a supportive touch, which we can give to ourselves. Most important to do. Starting with our own hearts. Can you feel that the hands on the heart do offer a sense of support? Breathing into the heart and the hands. And each exhale softening the body. Inhaling into the heart. Exhaling, softening the body. Gently allowing your hands to release if you would like to, and spending the last few moments in silence, exploring and being curious about your state. Noticing where the thoughts are. Noticing if anger showed up at all. Being courageous enough to be curious. Very slowly creating some movement in the body that feels good for you. Allowing any movement to be perfect. No need to question. And then when it feels right, coming onto your right side and curling into a ball. Bringing the knees towards the nose. Pausing here. Before gently lifting back up. And slowly and mindfully coming to a standing position to finish today. Feeling the feet on the floor. Noticing how it feels to stand. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Feeling the feet on the earth and the hands reaching towards the sky. Exhaling, bringing them down towards the side. Noticing how you feel right now. And if you would like, I offer to end the breath of joy. So we started with a 3-part breath of exhale, and the breath of joy is 3-part on the inhale. And you can use your arms or not, depending on what you would like. So it's a 3-part inhale and an exhale, fully. So with the arms, it's inhale to the front, inhale to the sides, inhale to the front, and exhale with a bow. So it looks like this. Noticing how you feel. Allowing yourself to play with that breath at whatever speed works for you, using the arms or not. Breath of joy. Thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful time. Be well.